Three Nigeria Info Dailies today. Let's start off with this story in the Punch today. Got a lot of people talking earlier on this morning on the show. It's in the Punch. We're taking this from Subsidy. Federal government may deduct 2.4 trillion naira palliative from Federation account. Plans talks. This is about some transportation grant of 5,000 naira to 40 million Nigerians.
Yes, between yesterday and today, I've heard people express surprise at how all this came about. And everybody keeps wondering, who thought of this? How is this going to happen? Let me give you my theory as to what I think happened.
Okay.
So Nigeria finds itself in a position where it can no longer pay subsidies because a large number of that subsidies in any case goes into private pockets through dubious means. You can't run away from that. Mm-hmm. Then some of our dear civil servants who are masters at the game, come up with this idea to sell to the politicians that, look, why don't we give poor people 5,000 naira, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, 40 million. Politician does his calculation and says, yes, okay, if we give, this is as good as giving people bribes to vote for us. That forget all the Jimi, Disus and Wemimo who will be howling on radio. Once the masses can get 5,000 naira every month, they'll be the happiest people on earth. So the civil servants sell this idea to the politicians. Now, why did the civil servants sell this? Some of them. Why did some of them sell this? They sold this not because they like Nigerians and they want everybody to get 5,000 naira, but it is the greatest working system I've ever seen. It is fraught with all manners of fraud you could think of. And then the politician now says that, okay, fine, if we could give 5,000, forget, in the villages, they'll be happy, they'll be dancing for us, and we'll get votes. At the end of the day, this idea is not going to benefit any one of us. It looks more to me, I'm sorry to use the word, it appears to be a scam that is going to benefit part of the civil service and will benefit the politicians, because the politicians will also be submitting names to the civil. In fact, the civil servants will ask them, Honorable, do you have any names you want to add?
As usual.
So this is going to be, if care is not taken, a corporate government Ponzi scheme.
So, but why did the government agree?
How?
Because I don't understand.
Okay, you didn't let me land. You see, okay now. How did the government agree? What is the difference between who are the government? It's the civil service and the politicians. And don't forget, you have elections coming up.
Yeah.
If you look, when you see a rush of contracts, we are old enough in this game. When you see a lot of infrastructural contracts and at state, local government and whatever level, not all the reason, but a large part of that reason, that is where the funds come from. The funds are not necessarily gone, they're not picked at the CBN, they have to be piped through a system.
Yeah.
So when you hear like a governor say, oh, we want to do roads and this and that, that is where the funding comes from. At the end of the day, whoever thought of this idea is doing a great disservice to our country, because how much did they say it's going to cost? 2.4 trillion. Now, I'd like to take a bet for somebody who can tell me, naira for naira, kobo for kobo, how much of this 2.4 trillion will get to the poor people, supposedly. And is that how to run a country? When during COVID, the United Kingdom decided that they were going to give grants and so on and so forth, there was already a piped system.
Yeah.
Either through tax or through benefits. So it was easy. If somebody is on benefits of £500 a week, it was easy to increase it to 550. In Nigeria, what do we have? What register are we going to use to this? But remember that any money budgeted in Nigeria, it must go in. So how are we going to do this thing? I'm not going to give myself a headache. Because I learnt my lessons from the Ojota crisis when all of us were shouting, no subsidy, no subsidy, don't take subsidy. We didn't know that the same people who are fueling it were the ones who are going to benefit. They were fueling it from the background. We thought they were our friends, the elites. We thought they were our friends. They showed up in Falamo. Some of them showed up, and they were all, yes. At the end of the day, we were all taken for a ride. This country is a racket.
So you think this would fly?
It will fly. How? That it will happen.
Like it will happen?
No, it will happen in theory, but it won't happen as you think in practice.
Huh.
It's done. It's done. Forget. It's done.
But the Senate did say that we don't have a budget for it.
No, everybody needs his own. You know the name of the game.
Hey,
let's go too far. You know the name of the game. Everybody needs to be carried along in this kind of exercise.
Negotiate their own
What is clear, though, having said that, what is clear is that you can no longer continue this subsidy regime. So we are caught between a rock and a hard place. So the question is, what should we then do?
But the government, the FEC approved money, I think around March, to resuscitate the Port Harcourt Refinery. The money was approved in March this year. Look at it here. I read it this morning. Yeah, this is it. $1.5 billion in March. The federal government approved for repair of Port Harcourt Refinery. What has happened?
No, just one question. Is this the first time you're hearing this?
Well, no.
Do you think it's the last time you're going to hear this?
I don't think so.
Oh, very good. Let's move on to the next.
I'm exhausted.
Today's Friday.
It is. Okay. Let's see this story here today. Which one do you want to take? This one?
No.
This one.
Yeah,
okay. We're kidnapped, raped while traveling to Libya, says 21-year-old returnee. I read one of the stories this morning. One of the parents the guy had asked his parent to raise him 1.8 million naira, only for him to land in Libya.
When I saw this earlier this morning, it reminded me of a video that I saw some Nigerian guys trying so hard to see if they could travel to Burkina Faso. I don't know where we get this idea that the only solution to your plight in the kind of country we live in is to move to another country. There is nothing wrong in relocating, albeit if you do it legally. Because if you don't do it legally, there is nothing but suffering waiting for you. And the reason why I'm highlighting this story, really, is not for any other reason than to tell our young people there, be very careful before you step out of the shores of your country. Day in, day out, we have to keep shipping people back.
Yeah.
But we never learn a lesson. We never learn a lesson. You guys out there should be lucky you don't have a military government like Buhari in 84. He'll turn his back on you. In fact, there was a decree in 84 that if you brought dishonor to your country, it was an offense. Mm-hmm. We keep telling people, stop this so-called migration. Stop this study before you hop on the plane and go. But everybody always thinks that, mine will be different. Also, you have a lot of people falling victim to all kinds of people living abroad and so on and so forth. For God's sake, get yourself alive. There is nothing wrong. If legally you can move to another country, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Even if you have a country that is prosperous, sometimes you do feel like making a move. But for God's sake, for you to put that kind of hard-earned money, well, I don't know if it's hard-earned money, put that kind of money together to go buy yourself a ticket to land to go and suffer, I don't understand it. So in case you haven't heard now, we were kidnapped, we were raped while traveling to Libya. So this is a 21-year-old returnee. And if you want to, the details are in the Punch. You can see what this gentleman, is it a lady, what she went through. She says here, I lost my mom at the end and was being cared for and so on and so forth. From Ojo in Ibadan, she went to Kano and Niger. From there to the desert. When we got to the desert, about 50 of us were kidnapped, raped and beaten. We were told to call our traffickers to come and bail us. She bailed me with 1.2 million. That's a racket, really. Because we are now owing the trafficker 1.2 million.
It is.
And so on and so forth. When I came out, I stayed in Shaba for 1 week and later went to Tripoli to treat myself and later came back to Shaba. I paid my trafficker almost 2 million to free myself. I started working for myself this year, April to August, where I was collecting 120,000, but the other person I was working for didn't pay me for 6 months. And I left there. I went to a motor park to stay with an uncle who promised that I would go to Nigeria soon. But the police came to bust our house and collected all our property, including our money, and we're thrown. It's a sad story. Very sad story.
I've done a report on human trafficking, and the story is always the same, but I also realized that there's a lot of ignorance. There was a guy I was speaking with last week who just told me he had spent his last card trying to get out of the country and go to Australia. And then he says a person working it out for him tells him they need to do some fingerprint and the machine is not in Nigeria, so he has to go to Ivory Coast. I'm like, eh? He says, no, but if you want to go to Canada, you can't get the machine in Nigeria. I said, wow, really? I said, but this is Canadian website. He said, no, you have to. They took us to Cote d'Ivoire to go use one machine to thumbprint. We pay so amount of money. I'm so desperate. I really want to leave. The ignorance is high. You don't have a passport. You didn't go for a visa interview, but you want to enter a country? Really?
It's for example, I find quite a lot of people send me questions and I say, why don't you just Google it?
I mean, the internet is your friend.
We need to develop the habit of getting ourselves educated before you go into anything. It's very crucial. Get yourself educated. Talk to those who know.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Talk to those who know. And listen to the voice of wisdom. But it's not just the young people that are involved. People of our age, retirees and so on and so forth, put all their pension together and head on a visiting visa to the United States. And like my good friend Nuru said, in fact, they were fine way one. I knew one. She ended up spending 1 whole year without getting a job. At the 13th month, she got a job in an ice cream parlor as just like this is somebody in almost 60 plus.
I know people want to leave, but just find out, ask questions.
But be calm, ask questions, and let me tell you, if you ask properly, even those who live in those countries legally are finding life tough. It's just as bad there too.
Yeah.
Not to talk of you who would now be going in illegally, and if you don't want to put 700, 800,000 to start a small business here, and you'd rather go wash toilets in Europe and whatever as an illegal immigrant, good luck to you. But the truth is, it's difficult for you to hear the truth from those who are there because of stigmatization. Everybody likes to look when they come back, they wear some jeans, they just go above our market.
Well, it's good for you to want to, try other places if you can, but go legally and ask thorough questions before you head out. You don't want to get yourself trapped and you're in total trouble. Yeah, well, let's see this other story. I'm really happy to see this one because I've been planning to get I've just got the contact. I was planning to call them to ask questions. One of my callers asked about housing in Lagos. When we're talking about federal government mortgage system and so on. What are governors doing about, because it's not on the exclusive list, housing is on the concurrent list. So what are governors doing about providing housing? And Lagos is peculiar. Rent is very expensive. This headline here reads, Sanwo-Olu plans 3,400 housing units for workers. This is meant to be for public and private workers. 3,400. We've not even started it, so it's a plan.
No, it will come to fruition. Lagos State has they have a housing whatever that is on autopilot. Any current government needs to key into it. Right from the time, not even the times of Jakonde, let's be honest with you. Right from the times of the LEDB, the whole of Sulere, Adewuni Gusanya, Akirile, they're all government projects that have taken place. Then, of course, the Jakonde housing came. Fashola did a bit of his. I don't know if some. Ambode, I don't know if it must have continued. It must have, definitely. So it's on. This really is just to announce to you that there are 3,400 housing units that are in the works again for that are coming up. Private sector, public participation. The houses will be made available. Now, I think that Fashola got a template that we just need to follow. It did it by ballot. The houses are Takirili and so on. It did it by open ballot there. So the winners, it doesn't mind even won. And so we need to do that so that, again, this is not hijacked by politicians and civil servants. And I remember in the days of the LEDB, when Nigerians were still relatively honest, the days of LEDB and the earlier part of LSDPC, people bought one house each. my late uncle, even though he was a director, I keep saying this and I say it proudly, even though he was a financial director, and so he bought a bungalow. Those are the days of honesty. But by the time we moved process to like Dolphin area, you found some directors then, late and alive, some bought 5, 15. By this time, So, Mr. Sanwo-Olu, I'm glad that you're going to build these houses in your spirit, because he has shown some willingness to be honest deep within him to do the right thing. That is the current governor. And I say in that transparent, make sure that these houses are balloted for. Just do a ballot. So
it's free and fair.
It's free.
I like that the mortgage is spread over 15 years, makes it pretty easy. And they said single digits interest rate.
If you know people, when sometimes you get agitated, people keep wondering what's wrong with this old man. Nobody got a mortgage to buy a house in Festac. Nobody got a mortgage to buy LEDB houses in Surulere. You were given a card. The people, my grandmother got one in Olumegbon. They were given a card. They were in Akwa Ibom area. They had to move them because of a co-bridge that was coming up. And they were all given a card so that you could pay over, some period. Government needs to do something to alleviate the whatever. You know that the mortgage system we run here is a bit punitive. They were giving cards. Even in Festac, you go to FHA, you collect your keys and your card, and you start paying every month.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing with this one too. They spread the payment over 15 years.
Well, I don't know whether it's going to be from a mortgage bank. I don't know how that is going to be.
Well, if it's PPP, they'll probably work.
It says on a convenient mortgage system spanning 15 years. What I'll do, I'll bring Mr. Moruf Akinde Rufatai to come and explain how all this is going to work. But let me quote what it says here. It says that it is worthy of mention that housing development comes under the pillar of making Lagos a 21st century economy in the theme's agenda.
That's good. I would like to see it. Let's see this other story from the Punch newspaper today. Man who checked into hotel after quarreling with his wife found dead in Rivers. This report says that the man broke a mirror in the room where he lodged, and the hotel suspect he used it to slit his own throat.
Today we have a lot of human angle stories, and what I was trying to think is it because did this man slit his throat because of the quarrel? Then what could the quarrel have been about?
What were they arguing about? Now,
let us be honest with ourselves. A lot of us today have mental
disorders.
A lot of us, due to the kind of country, something ranging between depression, anxiety, and there's no point kidding about it. There's no point being in denial. It's not going to be done by going to church or going to the river to have a bath. We want to encourage people. Go and seek the advice of professionals. At face value, it looks as if it was a quarrel with the wife. We don't know what the quarrel is about. But for all you know, it could have been a built-in frustration from the onset, then compounded by the wife. That's why you have to be careful with the people you live with. Don't take out your anger on them. Don't take out your frustration on them. Let's all be our brother's keeper, because in being our brother's keeper, we're also being our own keeper. The wife that was supposedly fighting with him over whatever it was now, I don't know whether it was chop money or she found him with another babe or whatever. Now a completely different issue has now crept into her life. She has suddenly become a widow. Not just that, she's going to have the stigmatization from the man's family saying that she was the one who killed him. So she's going to face what I call a traditional murder charge. Not the normal murder charge, but she's going to face a charge. The family will call her. And so let's all be careful. This country can frustrate you, no doubt. Everybody is touchy. Everybody is on the edge. But you have to manage yourself well. And if you notice, by any slim chance, and I can tell you this, there are medications for these things. There's some counseling that can help you. Don't just think that. And it's not a matter of going to, like I said, go to have a bath in the river or going to licking one honey. No, it's not. Seek the whatever of professionals. I urge our religious bodies too. Your counselors that you have, instead of having somebody who is well versed in speaking in tongues and who is well versed in the Quran, look for professionals, hire them to come to church on Sunday and provide counseling for your people. It's the least you can do for your congregation. But the problem is pride always sets in.
Mm-hmm.
Our pastors always want to show that they know all. In fact, what they do is they want to they all want to capture your mind so that you are completely dependent on them psychologically.
Well, I must say that in at least in my work with people who've got mental issues, the role of religion is also important. Especially if you're someone who believes in God, it's good. But there's there's also the place of having trained experts. Religion can provide you a support system. It's part of your support system. Even experts will tell you, maybe you believe in prayers, you have people praying with you, but that's not the main thing. Most times you need treatment, you need drugs, you need medicine, you need therapy sessions. So don't sit with one while you discard, the ones that would really help your mind.
After all, if you have malaria, really and truly, you go see a doctor.
In fact, you took that straight out of my head. That's what
I can see what is in your head.
Really, is my hair transparent? Can you see it? Okay, I was almost getting distracted by this story while you were talking. I think Tessie has done a fantastic piece here. Tessie, if you're listening, I owe you wine because, man, this is good. This is a report in the Punch newspaper. It's an investigative report. It's titled "Palatial Mansions, Super Exotic Gurus Live in Luxury." Where's the rest of the headline? But this page summarily highlights with their names alleged Nigeria's Ponzi schemes. The central picture on this page in the Punch today is of Akwa Philip's 4.5 million naira cake, I think during his wedding. This
cake, 4 million naira.
4.5 million naira cake. Only, wedding cake.
Right.
It has lights and it's beautiful.
Look, let me be honest with you. If you go into any Ponzi scheme of any kind that offers you returns far ahead of what is normal, you will only have yourself to blame. You will, because if that kind of facility had been available legally and in truth, then the banks would be empty. There is no shortcut.
Please, I think you should say that again.
I can't remember.
Like, if it was possible to make that amount of money that they are offering you,
easily, yes.
Nobody will put their monies in the bank.
Even the banks will move all their money there.
There will be no banks because they will also want to make money.
You see, and look at what you have here. This is the story. This has in the Punch. It has that some of the what some of these people have made. Alleged persons, what they have allegedly made. Bamishe Ajetumobi, 22 billion. People's money. And his church properties include Banana Island, plus apartment in Oakwood, 23 Cooper Road, and so on and so forth in Ikoyi. Maxwell Odum is Chief Executive Officer of MBA Trading and Capital Investment. 171 billion. I want to so that's what he gave you. He operates 39 Naira accounts and $8 accounts and donated 1 billion to Christ Embassy. Harrison Osanwigwe is the owner of HO Corn Farms, allegedly made away with the investors' funds running to billions. Akwa Philip Paul, 10 billion. Adewale Jayoba, 40 billion. Dakbo Abiola, Voltac Global Capital, accused of defrauding investors of 1.8 billion. Anyan Soma, 7.5 billion. The story talks about palatial mansions, super exotic gurus living in luxury while their victims suffer. The story says here that the scheme continues to ravage Nigeria because we are greedy people. And we are always thinking of shortcuts.
Maybe because the people are poor.
Not, is that sorry?
Maybe because the people are poor. They're looking for a way out of poverty.
So the little you have to invest it in something that is unrealistic. Don't you lend yourself a brain?
Isn't that the same thing we do with this betting stuff? We are hoping to win 2 million naira with...
betting. No, to be fair, betting is a bit different. First of all, betting is legit.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, fine. And what you're doing is you're playing your odds. I don't bet, but betting is legit. This one is worse than betting. This one is not going to get you anywhere. But you see, what they do is they work on your greed. If somebody tells you that, give me 1,000 today, at the end of the month, I give you 5,000. Why would he offer you that opportunity when he can keep pumping money and making all the opportunity
by himself? Are you his family member?
It's simple logic. If
you found that kind of opportunity, would you call other people to come join you? Won't you sit on the money and take it for yourself? I mean,
would you?
Yes,
I would. Tell me.
My people know that I will tell them. I'm good
not
like
your
that.
People, I'm asking.
Yeah, of course I will tell you.
I won't tell you.
Rather,
I will oppress you with it. My motto, give you this, that, buy you nice perfume. This, I continue to oppress you, but I won't tell you where
the source of the money.
Yes, that's the typical.
But you know that I can drill very well. I'll drill the answer out.
I can also drill. Wemimo.
Our time is up. Our time is totally up. But I'll leave you guys with this headline. Just go think about it. We can't talk about it right now. Nupeng extends nationwide strike notice as NNPC waits in. Nupeng extends nationwide strike notice as NNPC waits in. You can find that report and also talk to us on social media. We have to go now. Jimi Disu is back at 9 on Daily Digest. I'm back after the news at 8 o'clock with hot takes. Let's look at the biggest stories Nigeria talked about this week. I do this to remind you because Nigerians, we forget things easily. So this is a reminder of the biggest issues that came on the news this week. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. He is Jimi Disu. We'll see you again shortly.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.